Good morning, students. Now we'll move further towards our chapter of Unit 3, that is Robinson Crusoe discovered a footprint. So this is a story in which this fellow Robinson Crusoe, he is alone living on an island which is covered by water from all the four sides and having a limited portion of land, and on that there must be some forest, mountains or anything, that is called island. So this Robinson Crusoe, he was living there alone, and one day when he was heading towards his boat, he found a footprint, an unknown footprint, and he was exactly very astonished and surprised to see that whose footprints was there, and he was eagerly finding in everywhere. He is climbing up the mountains, the cliffs, and running here and there, and was finding whose footprints were there. One day when I was going towards my boat, I was surprised to see the footprint of a man on the sand. I stood amazed. I listened. I looked around me. I could neither hear nor say anything. I went up higher to look down. I went up to the shore and down the shore, but it was no good. I could find no other footprint but then the one. So Robinson Crusoe is saying, when I was going towards my boat and I found a footprint, I climbed up the cliff and to look down, but I didn't find anything, and I was running here and there and running on the shore and everywhere, but it is of no use because I was not able to see any other footprint but the only one, that footprint he found near his boat. I went to it again to see if there were any more footprints and to tell if it had been my imagination. Again he searched for that there might be some other footprints, but he didn't find anything, and he was checking everywhere that is it real or that I am imagining only. But it was not mistaken, for there was exactly the print of a foot. But I was not mistaken, there was really a foot. Toes, heel, every part of a foot, and exactly it was perfectly a print of foot or a footprint with heels, toes, right, and every part of foot. I could not imagine how it came here, and I am not able to find or figure out how it came here. I stayed a long time thinking, but became more and more confused, and Robinson stayed a long time over there, and he was thinking every possibility he can, but he was not getting any answer and was getting more and more confused. At last I returned home very frightened, looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps. And he is saying that laterly I returned home, I was very frightened, and I was looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps. After every step, every little step, after every 2 or 3 steps, Robinson was looking behind him and was finding if there is someone who is following him, or he was very frightened at that time, mistakenly every bush and tree to be a man, and mistakenly he was getting more frightened, and he was imagining like that every bush or tree which he is passing through is a man. When I came to my cave, which I called my castle, I ran inside it as if I was being chased, and as soon as he reached toward his cave where Robinson was living, and which Robinson was actually calling castle, his castle. He ran inside like someone was chasing him. I do not remember whether I used the ladder or went in by the hole in the rock. And उसको ये भी नहीं याद, इतना वो डरा हुआ था, उसको ये भी नहीं याद है कि वो लेडर से राइट स्टेप्स लेके स्टेप से क्लाइंब किया उसने या went into a hole. He went into a hole which was in the rock, which I called the door, which he is calling the door or the entrance of his castle or his cave. I ran for cover. I ran for cover. छुपने के लिए I ran और I run faster than any animal could run, and faster than any animal. Animals can run faster than us, but Robinson is saying that I run for cover faster than any animal. I did not sleep that night. The more I thought about what I had seen, the more afraid I become. And he is saying that the more I am thinking about that footprint and thinking from where that footprint came and whose footprints were they, I am getting afraid more and more. I thought it could be one of the savage of the mainland who had wandered out to the sea in a small boat, or he is thinking like that footprint is maybe of any savage. Savage is wild people in primitive state. That footprint may be of some wild people or savage in the mainland who wandered out to the sea, who came on my island through a little boat by sea, and he is roaming here and there without any specific route. Luckily, I was not on the shore at that time, and Robinson is thinking that luckily, yes, I am very lucky that I am not on the shore at that time. But what if he had seen my boat? But what will I do? Yeah, what will happen if that savage or that wild human or that wild or a primitive people or a wild people that he saw my boat, मेरी बोट छोटी सी उसने देख ली, तो what I will do? If he had seen the boat, he would have realized that someone lived on the island and would soon return with others to kill and eat me. And अगर उसने मेरा बोट देख लिया है तो he will soon come back with his other friends and fellows and will kill me and eat me up. And so I lay then I lay fearful for many days and prayed for protection. And Robinson is saying that for many days he didn't came out and he lived inside his cave for protection. In doing so, I was much comfortable and going out to investigate. And when he was in his cave, he was feeling more comfortable and he was thinking that let's go out and investigate it again. But every now as I went forward, I looked behind me frequently because I was still very frightened. And when he came out for investigation and when he was walking again, वो अपने आसपास he was checking that there is someone or not because he was very frightened. However, as I went about for 2 or 3 days and saw nothing, I became little bolder. And when Robinson was going out for investigation from 3-4 days, he didn't find anyone, and again he was becoming little bolder and comfortable. I decided to go down to the shore again and examine the footprint once more, and he decided that now I will go down to shore again and I will examine the footprint again. I decide to measure it with my own footmark, and Robinson decided to measure that footprint with his own footmark. As I came closer to footprint, I realized that it couldn't be my footprint because I had not came to this part of beach since a long time. And again, when he reached near that footprint, he realized that this is not my footprint, or this is not Robinson's footprint, because he didn't came down, or he didn't came on that part of shore for very long time. Secondly, as I placed my foot along a side, the footprint, it seems larger than my own, and then also he made his footprint near to that footprint, and he realized, he observed that his footprint is smaller than the footprint he saw. My fear returned. I went home again believing that there was someone there, and Robinson's fear came back. He was again afraid and was thinking that definitely here is, on this island there is someone other than me also. The island was inhabited. The island is inhabited of that person or someone who is having that larger footprint. This island is inhabitant of that person also. Now we'll move toward hard words. First is two words, next is surprised, footprint, amazed, listened, shore, footprint, imagination, mistaken, exactly, confused, returned, frightened, chased, remember, ladder, afraid, savage, mainland, wondered, comforted, protection, and boulder. Next is meaning, savages, a wild people in primitive state. Mainland, large and continuous extent of land. Wandered, go from place to place without any definite route. Boulder, more confident. Inhabited, occupied या dwelled in. Thank you.